Hello, everyone. Okay, so this video is for the Aries new moon solar eclipse uh, at the end of the month, March 29th. Uh, I guess it's a little, well, I'll give you the degrees and everything, but that's the chart. And what I wanted to do, sorry about that, is just tell you each sign what houses it will affect. So obviously, Aries, it would be the first house, and I list what that could mean. Taurus, it would be your 12th house because Aries is right behind you. So that, Gemini, and all that. So you can take a screenshot of this, and then I'll put up the degrees and some other aspects that are happening and a pattern. So I'll show you that. Okay, so um, here is the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees 00 minutes. But I did do the aspects for a day before and the day after, which I believe the new moon partial solar eclipse um, opportunity um, or whatever has to do with this new beginning is the precursing. It is heralding the Neptune's entry into Aries. So, um, and any personal planets you have at 9 degrees, um, and you can do within an orb, within 1 degree, like 8 or 10 degrees in your natal chart, you will be affected. The cardinal signs will definitely be affected the most, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. You guys are going to feel this the most. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and any personal planets at 8, 9, or 10 degrees. See where it hits your personal planets. All right. I also did um, March 2025 planets and aspects at 9 degrees to help trigger your memory. So, for example, March 11th, we had Mercury conjunct Venus in Aries at 8 degrees 47 minutes. That's almost 9 degrees. Mercury stationed retrograde in Aries at 9 degrees. Mercury in Aries semi-squared Uranus in Taurus, 9 degrees of Aries. In the future, May 16th, Venus leaves her retrograde shadow in Aries at 10 degrees. And then in February, on February 18th, the sun entered Pisces, but Venus in Aries at 8 degrees, semi-squared Uranus and Taurus. So this squaring of Uranus and Taurus is an ongoing story. Okay, so I just did these dates to give you the pattern. And then Mercury in Pisces, semi-sextile Venus in Aries at 8 degrees, again, almost 9 degrees. So just look up your call logs, texts, emails, and hopefully that'll trigger a memory about what the conversation, agreements, rediscussions was about, what your feeling was about, and all that good stuff. I also did a listing with a date of the eclipses in Aries Libra axis, and that began in 2023 to 2025. So you can see all those. And this I've highlighted with two asterisks because our new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th has something to do with the solar eclipse in Libra, which was at 10 degrees. Okay. I also took it one step further. I did a recent historical Chiron in Aries hitting 22 degrees. Why? Because we have Mars in Cancer during this eclipse. We have Mars in Cancer at 21 degrees 59. Here. We have Mars in Cancer, 21 degrees 59 minutes, almost 22 degrees, squaring Chiron in Aries at 22 degrees 10 minutes. And this is important, an aspect of this new opportunity, because it'll help you heal. So I looked up the Chiron in Aries recently that hit 22 degrees, and I went back to 2024 again. So May 27th, the Sun in Gemini semi-squared Chiron in Aries at 22 degrees 4 minutes. Here you can see on May 29th, Mars was in Aries and it conjunct Chiron at 22 degrees. So also in your chart, see where 22 degrees is in your personal chart, because that might trigger something. But most importantly, back in October, when Mars first entered Cancer, squared Chiron in Aries at 21 degrees. The Sun in Libra opposed Chiron in Aries at 21 degrees on that same day. And then on October 17th, that super full moon in Aries conjunct Chiron in Aries at 21 degrees, 5 minutes. So there's this story here that's going on that I want you to be aware of. So this is harkening back to that. Okie dokie. I hope I made that clear. And we'll jump right into it. Hi, Aries. You are the star of this show. Um, the Aries new moon partial solar eclipse on March 29th at 9 degrees 0 minutes is in your sign. Um, and this is the last of the eclipses that we'll see in the Libra Aries axis for another decade, like 9 years. So this is pretty important, as well as because Neptune is entering your sign. So this solar eclipse or new opportunity of some sort is heralding um, a yearning that we'll have in our Aries related house. And for you, it is all about your image, your appearance, your physical image, your wardrobe, your hair. Um, I listed all those things on the beginning of the video. I listed everything that really falls in the first house, but it is mostly about your image, how you are seen, um, your profile, your portrait, um, wardrobe, trinkets, um, uniforms of any kind, uh, and all that good stuff. So this is an with the degrees that I mentioned previous to this when we were looking at the chart. If you have anything at 9 degrees in your natal chart, um, you can you'll feel it. But you are one of the cardinal signs, and of course, like I said, you are the star of the show, so you will definitely feel this. Now, eclipses, like I've mentioned before, are something of a commercial or a movie trailer of what will play out in your life for the next 6 months to a year, 3 to 6 months. This new opportunity will start developing, gaining momentum and size. Um, or it could be the seeding of a new opportunity, but most likely it will have to do with and about your image. So it's not really about that day that happens, but yes, be aware because it is an eclipse and it is powerful. It is the sun. Um, and let me just go through the aspects, and we'll try to figure out exactly what is going on. So Mercury is retrograding back into Pisces. So you're, this is, well, the first thing is do not make any permanent life altering decisions during any eclipses, whether they're solar or lunar. And like I've said before, on full moons as well, because full moons, they're, they conceal. It's at night. The night is dark. Our emotions are ruled by the moon. So, our emotions are hidden. But here with this new moon partial solar eclipse, the moon is blotting out the sun. It's blotting out the rays of the sun. So there is something that's being hidden regarding your image, regarding your profile, or what have you. So don't make any life altering decisions, is what I'm saying. Give yourself and others time and space. Um, Now, with this new moon, um, it will also semi-square Uranus and Taurus, and that's a hard aspect, um, but it's a quick aspect. It's a semi-square, and squares are not bad. I mean, they're not horrible. They can be tense, yes, but they do also jumpstart things. So, Taurus is your second house of job, income, and your value system, how you value yourself. And while we don't really know how Uranus will act because it's the planet of surprise and shocks and what have you, we can only guesstimate that this new opportunity will have will be tied to how you value yourself, or about a job, um, or income. If you feel like you know your income is not reflecting who you are, and so on. So there's some that story going on as well. Uh, the other important aspect is Mars in Cancer, squaring Chiron in Aries. And this story goes back to, like I mentioned in the beginning when I put up the chart, it goes back to October. Why is my thing not working? Oh, there it is. So it goes back to October when Mars in Cancer squared Chiron in Aries at 21 degrees. Um, and then it also is close within 1 degree orb of the super full moon that was in your sign in October. So Chiron is the wounded healer. So there it's triggering some kind of old wound, an old or a hurt that was in the past. Um, it could be also, you can think back to maybe 18 or 19 years ago because eclipses are karmic in nature and they do point back to 18, 19 years ago. So that wound or hurt could have been somehow there, but it's Cancer, and Cancer is your home and family. Um, and Cancer does rule um, the mother, so it might be associated with your mother or a matriarchal figure. So there's that going on with you as well. So you with this new opportunity, it you might actually be wanting to be alone and contemplating on this new you because you have this wound that's being triggered or this past hurt that's being triggered, and it is coinciding with a semi-square in Uranus and Taurus. So something about your job, income, and your value system. um, so there's heavy duty feelings. That's why I'm saying don't make any permanent decisions during partial this new moon partial solar eclipse in your sign, because the moon is involved, Mars is involved, Uranus is involved, Chiron is all involved. It's just going to be emotional for you, and it is also touching at the North Node. So because we have Mercury back into Pisces, uh, so this will be an external kind of emotional eclipse. And yeah, just give yourself some time. Um, but you'll feel this acutely. You're one of the cardinal signs. You will feel this acutely. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not. I mean, this opportunity, you might hear about it. It might be as mundane as you having an appointment with a plastic surgery just to consult, or a friend saying something about your wardrobe, or your um, parents, maybe your family, maybe bringing up an issue about your career and your reputation or your status. It might be something in that regard, but it is a fiery new opportunity for you, um, and it is the beginning of something that you will pursue definitely for the next decade. I mean, you'll have this opportunity. You take advantage of it way before then. Like I said, within 3 to 6 months, it manifests into something. But this is the last solar eclipse, setting the stage for the next 10 years regarding your image and your appearance and your physical appearance, your profile online, and so on. And yeah, then the yearning begins on the next day when Neptune enters Aries at 0 degrees. That's pretty huge. So if you have anything at 0 degrees, also in your natal chart, look for that. All right, Aries. Yeah, just a quick video on this eclipse. If you have any questions, you can throw them in the comments, and I'll talk to you in your April scope. Hi, Taurus. Okay, Taurus. So this new moon partial solar eclipse in the sign of Aries is hitting your 12th house of secrets, the past, behind the scenes, religion, faith, spirituality, the ethereal, confining spaces or institutions, habitual drug or alcohol use, um, dreams, intuition, and all that good stuff. It's the hidden house. No one really knows what goes on there, but it is the house where you you enjoy retreating. You enjoy being alone. So there's a new opportunity here, and what's been going on the past 2 years. Do look at the beginning of the video when I put up the aspects and the degrees to see if any of those hit your natal chart, as well as I give you some um, recent historical of those degrees that have happened in last year and this year, because then you can look at your call logs, text, or emails, and it'll trigger, or you'll remember what was going on with that. So it'll give you a clue about this new opportunity that's giving up, but that's being presented here in some fashion. Um, but mainly for you, um, you have been you have been um, really enjoying your time alone, or you've been working behind the scenes on something, on a project. Um, it can be it can be a secret romance also, not for any bad reason, um, but maybe you just want to keep it close to the chest for now. Um, and it can be someone who's like a firebrand of some sort, or you could be just contemplating the past, maybe something um, that triggered some kind of a past wound or hurt of some kind regarding your value system, and how it's how you value yourself, and and now you're setting this new tone going forward about letting go of the past, Taurus. Mm. If there is any habitual drug or alcohol use um, here, uh, you might be releasing that, but also be careful um, of starting any kind of drug use thing. And I'm not saying like drugs. I'm talking about like maybe prescription drugs. Just be careful with getting on that kind of a routine. Definitely no like sleeping pills, or you don't want to get into that. And of course, alcohol. Just be careful, because this is setting the tone. It's heralding uh, the next day's Neptune entering Aries at 00 degrees. And there'll be a longing, some kind of a yearning. Okay. Um, but it is, and your dreams, your intuitions is going to be heightened here. As far as a new opportunity, it can be anything, Taurus, but it has to do with something in your 12th house. So any of those things that I rattled off in the beginning, and I'll say it again: past, secrets, behind the scenes, confining spaces or institutions, taking care of someone, maybe your parents, maybe a parent needs taking care of, or something like that. Religion, your faith, your spirituality. You could get deep into those subjects. Um, and then, like I mentioned, the any medicines or alcohol um, use there. So we do have the moon in Aries semi-squaring Uranus in your sign on the same day of the eclipse. So the moon is feelings. So again, these hidden feelings, if your hidden feelings, um, and a semi-square. A square is a tense aspect, but it's a semi-square, so it's a quick tense aspect. And squares can be good; they can jumpstart stuff. Um, and Uranus in your sign. So I've mentioned before, for you, Taurus, you have in the past 7 years evolved very much so, uh, maybe in some ways radically, as far as your personality or your profile or the way you appear. And it is now you have these hidden feelings or emotions regarding these changes. So that's also playing out for you, trying to see beneath is like what is triggering all this, but it does have to do with image for you as well, Taurus. And then we also have on the same day Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. So Cancer for you is your second house of job, income, and your value system, how you value yourself. So again, very similar to Aries scope. And it's squaring, so a hard aspect, definitely, Chiron in Aries. Again, some kind of a wound or a hurt in the past, or with faith, or spirituality, or anything with drugs or alcohol, or taking care of someone. It's triggering this wound, this hurt that you've had. And you can think back to October. Um, Cancer also rules the family, and especially the mother. So there could have been either, that's my pug snoring, there could have been either a heated exchange with your family, and more specifically your mother or a matriarchal figure, um, that brought up this past wound or hurt. Or it can be as mundane as maybe renovations to home, or taking care of a parent or parents, and your income or your job might have um, might not have been enough, maybe, to also care for them, or whatever project is going on with home and family. Um, or you could have maybe been borrowing money from family, and maybe especially your mother. And again, if you're an adult, it might be bringing up a past wound, um, maybe of insecurity, um, maybe of not making enough. Or this could be about someone else that's very close to you that's bringing all this up. Um, but yeah, that's what's going on. And again, look to your natal chart for any planets at 8, 9, or 10 degrees. And also the 22 degrees that I mentioned, because that's the Chiron in Aries, squaring Mars in Cancer. And then the very next day, Neptune enters Aries, and there will be a yearning, a longing, about something in secret or in the past, or about spirituality, dreams. Your dreams will start becoming vivid, and you'll have more of those going on. So that's what's happening. So again, this is more for you, just like Aries. It's going to be more internal. I mean, there might be a new opportunity that presents itself, um, that might be outward, and you'll remember an eclipse is an unfolding story, and a new moon partial solar eclipse is a new unfolding opportunity. And this will gather um, importance and speed and time within the next 3 to 6 months. So, like I've mentioned before, eclipses are like movie trailers of what'll play out in the next 3 to 6 months. But this does set the tone, definitely for the next decade or so, or 8, 9 years, because we won't have another eclipse in Aries for another 8, 9 years. So whatever this opportunity is, so whatever you're having going on with your 12th house, you know, that seems to be set for the next 8 to 9 years. Um, just on eclipses, it doesn't matter if they're, new moon solar eclipses or total lunar eclipses. Do not make any life altering decisions, because um, it's an eclipse. And especially with this one, I mean, not that it's a total lunar eclipse. I know it's a solar eclipse, but the moon is literally blocking the rays of the sun. It comes between the sun and Earth. So there's something being hidden. There's something um, that's not being revealed. So give yourself, and it's emotional because we have the moon involved, we have Mars involved, we have Chiron involved, and Uranus in your sign. So give yourself and others time. Um, just let a few days pass. And also, do not make any permanent decisions on these few days. Give yourself time. But yeah, you're contemplating on how to go about with your hidden house. And like I said, you might even love being alone and doing this. So you might start a new routine here. Okay. So that's all I have. It was just a quick thing on the eclipse, and I did put up dates in the beginning of the most recent times that it hit the 9 degrees and the 22 degrees, so it can maybe jog your memory if you look up your call logs or emails, and that'll help you get a clue about what's going on or what it may be about. All right, I shall talk to you. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys in your April scope. Hi, Gemini. All right, Gemini, we are doing the eclipse in Aries. So the new moon partial solar eclipse. It is at 9 degrees 0 minutes. So look to your natal chart for 9 degrees where it falls. And um, it'll give you a clue of which area of your life it will also be affected. But as far as your um, sun sign is concerned, uh, this will hit your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, any kind of memberships, like gym memberships, or you know, um, um, any social media clicks. Um, but it's also about your hopes, visions, and dreams of the future, but more specifically of how you want to be seen um, among your peers, among these groups and friends. And your friends tend to be kind of a fiery go-getters and all that. So this is an opportunity, maybe a new friend, maybe a new group um, that you'll be associating with. Okay. Now let me just tell you what's going on that day specifically. Um, we also have Mercury going retrograding back into Pisces, so you're going to have discussions, rediscussions, re-agreements, and what have you regarding your career and status. But also the Moon in Aries will semi-square Uranus and Taurus. So feelings again about friends or groups or maybe a friend uh, is giving you are having tense feelings about something in the past. Maybe it triggers a memory about a past friend or friends or maybe a group you were involved in. Because a square is a tense aspect, but it is a semi-square, so it's um, a quick aspect. But there is definitely this feeling that it's that you're yeah, that it's bringing something up in the past or about a secret, maybe about taking care of someone, and it looks like there was money involved, maybe, um, or something of like a value system uh, with this friend, past friend or group. So that's playing out in the background. And then we also have Mars in Cancer, squaring Chiron and Aries. So Cancer is your second house of job, income, and your own value system, how you value yourself. Cancer also rules the mother or matriarchal figure, and that is a hard square to Chiron in Aries. So something about family, your mother or mother, or matriarchal figure rather, um, that is not approving of this past wound regarding friends or groups. And again, it has to do with something about money or job uh, and values. So that's all in the mix. And an eclipse is, like I've mentioned before, it's like a movie trailer of what will play out in the next 3 to 6 months. So this new opportunity, will manifest within 3 to 6 months. But it is also setting the stage for the next decade, as this will be the last eclipse in Aries until for another 8 9 years in the future. Um, and as well, the very next day, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees, kind of huge. So there will be a longing, a yearning regarding a friend, friends, or groups. And this new moon partial solar eclipse is heralding uh, this yearning that will start the very next day, which is quite huge. Um, but I always say on eclipses and full moons, please do not make any life altering, um, permanent decisions because they conceal more than they reveal. And especially with this eclipse, let alone it being um, kind of emotional and fiery, and it has this square to your past or 12th house, and then another square with family and your values and job. There's emotions, hard emotions involved. Uh, but the moon is literally blocking the rays of the sun. The moon is coming between the sun and earth. So there is something being hidden from you. And because Neptune enters Aries the next day, this yearning that we're going to be longing for, and in your case, regarding groups or friends, or how you want to, your dreams of your future self among peers, um, you just don't want to make any decisions when something is hidden from you, basically. Give yourself and others time and space, especially if there's money involved or a job or family is involved in all this. Give yourself, a few days to a week And you could have felt this before. Um, so, yeah, give yourself some space and time for this. I've also, in the beginning of the video, thrown up the chart and which areas of life you'll be affected. And as well, even with my windows closed, I hate that roadster, that whatever. Um, I was talking about a car passing by and it was loud. Sorry. uh, but yeah, give yourself some space and some time here. But it is a new opportunity, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this dramatic as I'm maybe making it. Uh, but just looking at the aspects, and with Jupiter in your sign as well, you're being pulled in all different directions. Yeah, yeah. Just avoid any decisions on this partial solar eclipse in Aries, because it's going to be kind of fiery. Anyway, if you have any questions, Gemini, throw them in the comments. I do answer all the questions, but I just wanted to give you a little heads up on this eclipse. And I will be talking to you in your April scope. So talk to you by then. Hi, Cancer. Hope you're doing well. So we're talking about this new moon partial solar eclipse on March 29th. It is at 9 degrees 0 minutes. And Aries for you is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, um, charitable or unpaid work, and authority figures. That's what Aries rules for you. And Aries is also um, the first sign of the zodiac, so it's about image as well. So there's something about your career and your image, or I'm sorry, your career and your reputation, your status. Status, remember, is married, not married, single, not single. It's a status, sort of a symbol. And authority figures that you are wanting some kind of image. Um, and this new moon partial solar eclipse is a new opportunity that will manifest in 3 to 6 months. Um, it will gather momentum and largeness within these months. But as I've mentioned before, eclipses are like movie trailers of a movie that'll play out in the next 3 to 6 months. Um, so it doesn't necessarily mean that something happens to your 10th house on this day, on this minute, on this time. It might be, you might be starting a new career on this day, but most likely you will be aware of it, or talk about it, or something about that will manifest in 3 to 6 months. It is also setting the tone for the next decade regarding your career and your status, and about authority figures, because this will be the last eclipse in Aries until another 8 9 years in the future. So that there's that theme that's prevalent. Um, Also, this on the same day we do have the moon in Aries semi-squaring Uranus in Taurus. So there is some feelings about your career and status and authority figures that is there is a tense feeling because it's a semi-square. Square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi-square. It's a quick aspect. So it, tense feelings about a friend or friends or groups, um, any kind of associations. Um, Also, the 11th house is your hopes, visions, and dreams of the future. So yours is very similar to Gemini's as well, but there is some tense feelings. Maybe you have these fiery, tense feelings about maybe a friend or a group um, that is being jump started here. Um, and also, we have Mars in your sign, Cancer, squaring Chiron in Aries. So, ouch, Mars in your sign, you do have this intensity about you, this urgency, and it can be about your image, your profile, your physical appearance. Maybe you've been on this trend since last October, um, when Mars first entered your sign, and then it retrograded. Now it's absolutely going direct. So you are busy about something about your image or your profile or your wardrobe. You may be losing weight. You may be pregnant and you're gaining weight. Um, you may be changing, and maybe there's plastic surgery involved, um, or just your status online. You might have changed that, your profile online. Yeah, Cancer also, you do rule the home and family and the mother or the matriarch. So family might be also involved. Now, it is squaring, that is a hard aspect. Chiron in Aries. So there's this past wound or hurt or an issue in the past regarding your career, your status, your reputation. There's something about that. Um, uh, so whatever you're trying to get done about yourself or change about yourself, it is bringing up. It is having a hard aspect, a tense aspect to something regarding the past and your career and your status, and maybe that's why you are on this determined um, action regarding the way you are seen, your image. Um, but because there's so much involved, so much well, not I don't want to be scaring anybody. Because we have the semi square, and because we have the square, and because the moon is involved, and also with this eclipse, the moon is literally blocking the rays of the sun. It's coming between the sun and the moon. So there's something hidden. Emotions are ruled by the moon, and you know that very well. You are ruled by the moon. You do tend to withdraw in your shell for security. So what I'm trying to say is there's something hidden here. Maybe it's your own emotions about how you're seen and about this career. Um, you've just kept it by to yourself, and um, and maybe it is about, maybe you see yourself in a friend or a group, um, or some. A Taurus also rules natally the second house of job, income, and value system. So there's also that involved. There might be money involved. Um, Maybe a family member is at a distance, and there's they need money, or you might be away from family and you might need money. Um, but again, it's bringing up this kind of wound. So with the moon blocking the rays of the sun, and the sun is in Aries, and it might be your own emotions. Just give yourself time and space. Do not make any life altering permanent decisions um, during the eclipse, but give yourself and other space, for a few days, maybe a week, because this is a strong eclipse. This is and it's a new opportunity. So nothing is bad, but there we have a planets retrograde. We have these squares and chirons in the mix, and emotions are all in the mix. You just don't want to be making any emotional decisions when there's something hidden from you. Okay. Uh, because then the very next day, the big news of this year is Neptune entering Aries. So you're going to have this longing, this yearning for um, something in regards to your career, your status, your reputation, and about authority figures. So yeah, just give yourself time. But I just wanted to throw up this video and just tell you what the aspects are and delve a little bit deeper. Also, in the beginning of the video, I did put up a chart and some dates of these degrees that hit in 2024, so that you can look up your call logs, messages, emails, and hopefully it'll trigger a memory, and you'll know what, sneak a peek about what this new opportunity in Aries in your 10th house will be about. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to throw them in the comments. I answer all questions, and try to listen to the beginning of the video, because you are a cardinal sign, so you will feel this um, acutely as well. And then, like I said, look for those degrees in the beginning of the video in your natal chart, and you'll also get a clue of which area of your life it'll affect. All right, Cancer, take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you in your April scope. If you don't, leave a question or comment, and I'll answer that before then. Take care. Hi, Leo. All right, so in this video, we're discussing the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th. And Aries for you is your ninth house of higher education, of foreigners, foreign lands, long distance travel, philosophy, um, publication, and the World Wide Web. Those areas of your life. And yeah, so there will be this new opportunity that you'll know about or you'll be presented with. But an eclipse is an unfolding story. So I always mention that eclipses are like movie trailers of a movie that'll play out in your life in the next 3 to 6 months. Um, so on the eclipse day, you'll get this clue about something about your ninth house. Maybe about all those components or just one or two of those components that I mentioned. Um, and it will gather momentum and largesse in the next 3 to 6 months when it manifests for you. But this solar eclipse is also significant as it sets the tone for your ninth house for at least the next decade, because it will be the last eclipse in Aries uh, for another 8 to 9 years. We won't see um, eclipses in Aries. So, yeah, it's setting the tone. Now, the other aspects that are happening is we do have the moon in Aries semi squaring Uranus and Taurus. And a square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi square, so it's a quick hard aspect. And the moon is, fleeting. It's only about 2.5 days, but it is your feelings regarding um, ninth house, so anything about higher education and all those things that I mentioned um, that are tense in regards to your Taurus related house, which is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, um, and authority figures, or any unpaid or voluntary work is the 10th house. Taurus also natally rules the second house of job, income, and value system. So, regarding your career or your status, you like it to be very grounded, and it takes a lot of hard work too, and you do devote hard work to make your career and status worthy of your name. Now, this opportunity or this new longing for um, regarding your ninth house is yeah, you're having these tense feelings. Um, maybe maybe it's about finishing school, or maybe getting another certification or continuing school so that your career can be set somehow. Or it could be about a foreigner and maybe setting a date. Maybe it's about engagement or marriage. Um, and maybe that's why and you have maybe problems, maybe with paperwork, um, or the distance between you two. Maybe that's why the hard aspect, um, or the feelings. Um, but yeah, there's that aspect. There's also Mars in Cancer that's squaring Chiron and Aries. So Cancer is your 12th house of the past, behind the scenes, secrets, taking care of someone, drug or alcohol use, but it's like habitual use. So maybe like prescription drugs, um, faith, spirituality, religion, confining spaces or institutions, dreams. Definitely dreams are in the mix. Um, so this story started back in October. Either you were working behind the scenes, very, very hard, um, or maybe you met someone and you kept it close to the chest, um, or it could have been also about family or a mother or a matriarchal figure, because Cancer does also rule the family and the mother. It could have been about that. Um, or again, any one of those. But what and you've been on this journey since October, so it went. There was a lot of heat and urgency back in October, November. Then it retrograded, and you had to review and redo things. Things didn't work out, and then now it's going direct. So you're figuring out this 12th house now, and you're working, yeah, you're working on something behind the scenes or about the past. And it's squaring, it's bringing up this old wound regarding your ninth house, regarding foreigners or higher education, or even your philosophy on life, or maybe publication. But yeah, that's in the mix. So uh, that's what's happening on that particular day, which is a lot. And an eclipse, whether it's a lunar or a solar eclipse, still conceals things. It's still, it's still about the moon, and literally this eclipse is the moon blocking out the rays of the sun. It's coming between the earth and the sun, so there's something hidden um, here regarding this eclipse, and there's something hidden about your ninth house. Um, Maybe if it is about school, it may be something hidden about this this education thing you're going to take, or maybe about a foreigner, or about long distance traveling. There's something hidden. So what I'm trying to say is, during eclipses or full moons, do not make permanent life altering decisions during the day of the eclipse. Neither a day uh, before or after. Give yourself at least, a few days to a week. Give yourself and others that much time. As well, we have, a lot of planets retrograding. We have Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. So there's still a lot more that's still confused and confusing, and with this eclipse, even though it's a new opportunity, it is fraught somehow, and there are these retrogrades that we're going to be going back into, and there's something hidden. So please give yourself at least, I would say, a week or 2 weeks, maybe even until maybe at least Mercury goes direct, um, and then the very next day, sorry, Neptune leaves Pisces and enters Aries at 00 degrees. So there will be a longing, a yearning, um, that will overcome you regarding your ninth house. And that's why I'm throwing up the warning of giving yourself some space, because that yearning will be very powerful. But, you know, you're ruled by the sun. Uh, you can do this. uh, you have enough confidence um, to give yourself a few days a week before you make any decisions, if there are any to be done. Otherwise, you could be just made aware of, and it'll just, like I said, snowball and manifest in 3 to 6 months. Also, check out the beginning of the video, because I put up the degrees and that you should look out for in your natal chart, because then you'll know exactly, which area of your life it will affect you, Leo. In any case, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to throw them in the comments. I answer all the questions, and I will be talking to you guys. If not in the comments, if you don't throw any questions or comments, I will be talking to you in your April scope. All right. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this eclipse will hit you guys. Talk to you soon. Hi, Virgo. All right, Virgo, we're talking about the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th. It is at 9 degrees, 0 minutes. And please do look to the beginning of this video. I do have um, the planetary aspects and the other aspects that are happening the same day, and also in the recent past, those degrees too. So it's not only the 9 degrees that I'm talking about. There's the 22 degrees, because we have um, Chiron and Aries, and the ongoing story with Mars and Cancer. So look to the beginning of the video to take screenshots and compare it to your natal chart to see where those degrees hit your natal chart, and what other areas of your life that might be affected. But as far as your sun sign is concerned, Aries is your eighth house of intimacy, joint finances, the mortgage, inheritance, government benefits, taxes, bank credits or loans, the taboo, secrets, the past, regeneration. Um, it's an intense house, um, but for most of you, it's probably hitting joint finances. Um, so this is a new opportunity. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be on that day, but yes, you will be made aware of something new that's happening here in your eighth house. And for most of you, you know, this has been hitting, this has been since 2023, the eclipses in Aries and Libra. So you know what it's about. And like mentioned, it has to do with joint finances or money being short, or maybe like an up and down cycle. And you guys have been working behind the scenes to secure something. Because Aries is also the me first sign, so individualism as well. So you might be working behind the scenes, securing something in regards to money. But you'll also be doing joint finances, but you want some kind of a independence regarding joint finances or intimacy. Anyway, this is a new opportunity regarding that, and an eclipse, you can feel it a week before. So that's why I'm saying you might have been working on it already, and you've seen some results. But an eclipse is an unfolding story. It is, I always mention, like it is like a movie trailer of the movie that'll play out in your life for the next 3 to 6 months, meaning this will gain momentum and largesse within 3 to 6 months where it manifests. It is also setting the stage for the next 10 years, or 8, 9 years, for the next almost decade, because we won't see another eclipse in Aries for another 8 to 9 years. So it's setting the stage in regards to your eighth house. It might be about an inheritance as well. If you've been working on that, um, if you're involved in that, rather. Uh, Also on this day, yes, on the same day, the moon in Aries. So feelings about joint finances or intimacy, again, government benefits and all that. Um, Semi squares Uranus in Taurus. Um, Sorry, I'm just thinking. Um, so yeah, so there's some tense feelings about joint finances and about your ninth house of foreigners, long distance travel, higher education, um, publishing, and the World Wide Web. Maybe I that it can be can be a lot of scenarios, but your feelings of being independent within joint finances or government benefits or taxes, and in regards to higher education or traveling. Maybe there's not enough money um, for this higher education endeavor, or travel, or maybe you have this publication. Um, you want to publish something, and it has feelings about the taboo. Maybe you're getting into fiction writing. Um, Again, like I said, it could be a million different scenarios, but it is a semi square. It is a tense aspect, but it's a quick aspect. And squares are not so bad. Not so bad. Not so. They jumpstart stale things. They jumpstart things in either direction. And again, in the beginning of the video, I give you some dates of these aspects, and it can trigger um, a memory of what's going on for you if you don't know what I'm talking about here. Also, we have Mars in Cancer that will be squaring Chiron in Aries, and that's been going on in the background. And Mars entered Cancer back in the end of September, was there October and November, and there was heat and urgency regarding, excuse me, your friends, groups, associations, um, any kind of memberships, or your hopes, visions, and dreams of your future, of the future, of how you want to be, your future to be seen amongst peers and groups. You were involved in that, but you've pulled away. Actually, a lot of Virgos are enjoying their alone time a lot. You guys are working. There's something going on, reviewing going on, of working on something behind the scenes. You're quite busy with that, and you're enjoying something about being alone. Now, this Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron and Aries. Cancer also, remember, natally rules the home and family, um, and a mother or a matriarchal figure. Um, and a square is a hard aspect. I'm not going to lie, that's a hard aspect. Uh, Chiron and Aries, so something about the past, a wound, um, an issue in regards to joint finances, um, or inheritance, or credits, loans, money, how others value you. It is your eighth house is the house where you benefit from other people's money as well in lump sums. So there was a lot going on with that. You were benefiting from money from others or an inheritance um, or things like that. But it also involves family or friends or groups, and some heat and urgency in all this. And different Virgos will know what's going on because using I'm throwing in everything in the kitchen sink because there's different Virgos doing different things. Some Virgos are very happily married. Some are getting married. Some are getting engaged. Some are going through separation. Some have divorced. Um, some are, had children leaving the nest. Um and if you were a single mother, of course, that's going to be very painful as well. Um, so there's many different Virgos in many different scenarios, and many Virgos also have started some kind of a new job or a new business, something of an entrepreneurial thing. But there's also this help from others that you're getting, or what have you. In any case, I'm beating a dead horse, but I wanted to let you know that because we have all these other aspects and feelings involved in this hard square, and literally this partial solar eclipse, it's the moon blotting out the rays of the sun. It's coming between the earth and the sun. So there is something hidden from you here, Virgo, regarding your eighth house of joint finances, government benefits, inheritance. Um, and all the things I mentioned regarding your eighth house. Again, I list those in the beginning of the video, so you can look at all those components. So give yourself and others space and time. Try not to make life altering permanent decisions during an eclipse or any full moon. Because again, there's something hidden. You don't have really the full story. As well, we have a couple planets that are retrograde. So decisions are going to be reviewed and reversed. And this is all interrelated. So give yourself a few days to a week, even 2 weeks, maybe at least until Mercury turns direct and communication is not stalled. Okay. Um, because then the very next day, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees, which is huge. And that will trigger this longing, this yearning that you'll have regarding your eighth house. Okay. Um, and that's a new journey that you will undertake. So you don't want to be making any decisions before you dip your toes, allegorically, with Neptune in the waters of Aries, for this longing and this yearning. All right, Virgo. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments section. I answer all questions. And then if I don't talk to you in the comments with any questions, I'll be speaking to you in your April scope. All right, take care. Hi, Libra. All right, Libra. So we're talking about the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries. And for you, Aries is your seventh house of partners, business, personal, contractual, platonic. Anyone who knows you really, really well is considered a partner. So, yes, husband, wife, um, boyfriend, well, that's really the fifth house, but um, your brother can be a partner, your daughter can be a partner. Um, yeah, so anyone who knows you very well. The seventh house is also the house of open enemies, um, or envious people. So you can see them; they're not hidden. And so here you have a new opportunity that is going to be presented to you, or you'll be made aware of. Remember, eclipses are an unfolding story. This is a new story about a partnership that will manifest within 3 to 6 months. But this eclipse is like a movie trailer of the movie that'll play out in your life in the next 3 to 6 months. So you get a sneak peek of some sort. But it is um, a beginning, a new opportunity regarding a partnership. Um, and wherever you are in life, Libra, you know what kind of a partnership it is. Now, we do have some planets that are still retrograde, Venus, especially your ruler. So you might be going back to an old partnership regarding an opportunity. And Mercury is going back into Pisces, so it might be about something about compassion um, or hard work or about a routine or a schedule. So that's in the mix. Now, the moon in Aries will semi square Uranus and Taurus. And a square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi square. So, a quick, tense aspect, tense feelings regarding a partnership or from a partnership in regards to your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, the mortgage, inheritance, taxes, government benefits, bank credits or loans, the taboo, the past, or secrets. So there's one or a couple of those aspects regarding this partnership that you are feeling tense about. And if you're going back to a partnership, maybe temporarily, maybe out of compassion, um, maybe that's why the semi square. We also have Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. So um, Libra, sorry, I'm just thinking. So Cancer is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, and authority figures. Um, it's also your unpaid or charitable job. So you have been on a quest here or urgency and action ever since October last year, October, November. There were issues that came up and that you've corrected and that you're going forward with. Um, and Cancer also rules the family natally and the mother, especially, or a matriarchal figure. So that might be in the mix. And it is squaring, this is a hard aspect, Chiron and Aries. So um, it is bringing up a hurtful issue, an issue or a wound um, regarding a partnership in the past. Something about family, about status, reputation, and partnership. There's a hard aspect there. It's not an opposition. So it's not like an either or. It's just it's bringing up these hard feelings that you are trying to resolve within yourself, but it's bringing up these old wounds from the past. In any case, what I'm trying to drive home about is there's a lot going on. There's this wound from the past, this hard aspect of this square, tense feelings. Um, we have Mercury and Venus, your ruler, still retrograde, um, with this all tangled up with this new moon solar eclipse. So try not to make any life altering permanent decisions regarding a partnership, not on this eclipse day, uh, not especially on this eclipse day, but a few days before or after. Give yourself and others space and time, maybe another week or so, or maybe even 2 weeks, because this is a powerful solar eclipse in Aries. And Aries is a firebrand. Um, so maybe at least wait till Mercury at least goes direct to make any permanent decisions. Um, Maybe you can say, I'm making this decision in lieu of something like that. Because then the very next day as well, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees. So there will be this really strong yearning, longing for this image of a partnership that you want. And if you're going back to a partnership and it's fraught with all this stuff, um, you might just, blur you might blur the boundaries. Okay. Um, yeah. So yeah, just give yourself space and time before you make any decisions, Libra, because this is quite important as well as besides, I don't know if I mentioned, but at the risk of repeating it again, besides this eclipse being, manifesting in 3 to 6 months, it is also setting the stage for the next decade because we will not have another eclipse in Aries for another 8, 9 years. Um, and this is also about karma, about 18, 19 years ago. Whatever happened with any relationships back then, it's either you owe or others owe you, and as far as karma is playing out. Mm, yeah, and I'm just thinking, I'm looking at this whole thing. Um, Taurus also natally rules the second house of job, income, and value system. So there's also that in the mix regarding a partnership. There's something about values and or money or a job. Uh, so it's bringing up that, and I just wanted to also mention that. So yeah, give yourself some space and time. I mean, it's a new moon part, and I might be, making it dramatic. For some Libras, it will be dramatic. For others, it might be a beautiful new union, an engagement, or a marriage, or finding, the love of your life um, through a job or a career, or something like that. Um, and these semi squares and these squares will just be, the adapting of families, bringing together families, value systems, and all that. It might be just as mundane as that, or it can be about a business and a business partnership, and a new business partnership, and bringing all these things together. Or it might be about separation and divorces as well. But I do look at the beginning of the video. I did put up the degrees, so you can check it to your natal chart, and you'll get another layer, another clue of which areas of your life this will affect, as well as I give you dates of these degrees in the very recent past. So you can look up call logs, text, and emails, and you'll get even more information about what it could be about. All right, Libra. Um, yeah, it's like I'm dropping off my kid. Whenever I end these videos. I don't want to let you guys go. No, I'm kidding. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. I answer all questions. And if I don't talk to you with those, I will be talking to you in your April scopes. Take care. Hi, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, we are talking about the Aries new moon partial solar eclipse on the 29th. It is at 09 degrees 00 minutes. And I do throw up in the beginning of the video the degrees as well as other aspects that are hitting this eclipse, and that those degrees, and also these degrees that have happened in the very recent past. So you can compare that to your natal chart, and you will get yet another clue of what area of your life it may affect. um, yeah, so look at your natal chart for 9 degrees, but also again in the beginning of the video other aspects are going on, so there's other degrees that are being triggered. So this is a new opportunity, and it is an eclipse is an evolving story. So you might be made aware of a new opportunity or a new journey that you're going to be taking regarding your Aries related house. And and that is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling, rituals, small pets, taking care of someone. It is your house of chaos and gossip. Also, Aries rules the first house of image and profile. So, how you want to be seen in regards to um, your health or your routine or your scheduling. It may be about a job as well. And like I mentioned, it's a new opportunity that will evolve, that will gain in momentum and in largesse and size, and manifest within 3 to 6 months from now. But it is also setting the stage for the next decade, as we will not have an eclipse in Aries for another 8 to 9 years. So it's setting this theme, because then the next day, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees, 0 minutes. So there will be a very strong longing or yearning um, for a certain type of a schedule, routine, a health habit. Again, all those other components that I mentioned regarding your sixth house that will start at the end of the month. So keep those in mind. Now, on the day of the eclipse, we do have the moon in Aries semi squaring Uranus in Taurus. Um, so, something about your routine, your scheduling, your health, about maybe about a job um, that is uh, in conflict with some kind of a change regarding a partnership. It might be a personal partnership, a business partnership, or a platonic partnership. Maybe your wife or husband, or like I said, a business partner, or anyone who really knows you really well can be considered a partner. So, whatever this new opportunity or this independence that you want regarding a routine or scheduling is not sitting well with a partner, or vice versa. Taurus also rules natally the second house of job, income, and value system. So there's also something about that involved in the background. Also, on the same day, we have Mars in Cancer that is squaring Chiron in Aries. Um, so, Cancer is your ninth house of higher education, long distance traveling, foreigners and foreign places, publishing in the World Wide Web. Cancer also rules the family, and especially the mother or matriarchal figure. Um, and a square is a hard aspect to Chiron and Aries. So it's triggering some kind of an issue of the past, a wound, a hurt you have regarding this health or this routine or maybe taking care of someone. So you are working diligently. My pug just stretched and he hit something and it startled me. um, so you have been working on something regarding your ninth house ever since October, um, in earnest, with heat and urgency. And it could have involved family. Um, and then there was an obstacle, and just you were stalled, and you had to correct some stuff, and now you're going forward with this ninth house matter again, whether it be higher education or a foreigner or long distance traveling, and family somewhere in there involved, and it is bringing up this wound regarding scheduling or taking care of someone. This could be simply taking care of a parent, an elderly parent, and your schedule and routine is not working, or you're trying to make it work, um, or you're wanting some kind of a freedom, independence regarding the schedule, this routine, or your health, um, and it's and what you have currently is just not working with um, your ninth house, philosophy, a foreigner, or what have you, or maybe it's higher education. In any case, that's involved. So what I'm trying to say is an eclipse. I don't know if I mentioned this, but just for the sake of making a point here, is an evolving story. It will, like I said, manifest 3 to 6 months. But do not make any hardline, permanent decisions on this, on any eclipse or any full moons, because they conceal. And literally, this eclipse, the moon is blotting out the rays of the sun, and the sun illuminates everything. So it's coming between the earth and the sun. So there's something hidden here regarding your sixth house. Plus, we have Mercury retrograde, we have Venus retrograde. So there's also other information that's not complete. That there's missing information here, and that may be reversed in the future as well when they go direct. Um, and we've got these squares and these tense feelings, and money is involved, maybe family is involved. So you don't have all the information, and it's emotional. I mean, you're a Scorpio, you can handle all these intense feelings. You are able to separate um, these things, uh, as well as be fluid with all of them, but others may not be. And and you, like I said, you don't have the complete story, so you want to give yourself space and time, as well as others give others space and time. um, a few days to a week. And I've been saying to everybody, if you are able to push any decisions that you need to make about this Aries related opportunity. If you can push it for another 2 weeks until Mercury is direct, at least the communication will not be fumbled and stalled. But but if you can't, maybe say I agree in lieu of or something like that. Uh, but yeah, I just wanted to note that. That's why I did this video on this eclipse, because of these aspects and these retrograde planets, and just wanted to caution you on the side of um, holding off on any decisions. And like I said, look to the beginning of the video for the degrees and match to your natal chart to see if anything is getting triggered in any area of your life. If you have any comments or questions, I do answer all the questions. And if I don't talk to you regarding any comments or questions, I will be talking to you in your April scope. So take care, Scorpio. I'll talk to you soon. Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius. So this video is about the Aries new moon partial solar eclipse at 09 degrees 00 minutes, happening on March 29th. Um, and for you, Aries is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. It is your house of fun, lighthearted fun, um, entertainment. Yeah, just having fun. So you are um, either being presented or getting a new opportunity here, Sagittarius. Um, and it's a very fiery, brand new opportunity, linked, of course, somehow to karma and 18, 19 years ago, because eclipses are about karma and, and that time frame, about 18 years ago. But an eclipse is an evolving story. It is about this new opportunity that will manifest in 3 to 6 months. So it will gain momentum and opportunity and size within 3 to 6 months. Uh, it is also setting the tone for the at least the next decade, because we will not have any eclipses in Aries for another 8 to 9 years. As well, the very next day, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees 00 minutes. Huge. um, and that will trigger this yearning, this longing, um, and other things that I'll do a dedicated video for. But regarding your fifth house, um, now I'm going to tell you about the aspects that are happening on the 29th that are entangled with this solar eclipse in Aries. So we have the moon in Aries, 09 degrees, semi-squaring Uranus in Taurus at 24 degrees. Um, and Taurus is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling. I just remember something. Sorry. Taking care of someone, small pets. Um, the sixth house is the house of chaos and gossip. Taurus also natally rules the second house of job, income, and value system. So there's the feeling about love, romance, or children. There's tense feelings uh, because of a routine or a schedule, or having to take care of someone, or maybe your health. Um, yeah, one or the other is causing one or the other um, an issue. It's a square, it's a hard aspect, but it's a semi-square, so it's a quick aspect. Um, but it does jumpstart something here, and maybe that's what's triggering this new moon. So a new way, a new opportunity, a new love, and maybe some of you guys are pregnant or getting pregnant, and your routine and schedule is going to be off kilter, or something about your job. If you're between jobs, or if you have a job, you might be changing jobs. Um, in any case, that's a semi-square right there. We also have Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. So this is a little bit more heavy duty. The square is definitely a hard aspect. But again, it's not like an opposition, does jumpstart things, but it is a hard aspect. Now, Cancer for you is your 11th house. I'm so sorry. Is your eighth house. I just blanked. Is your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, the mortgage, inheritance, government benefits, taxes, credits, loans, the taboo, past, regeneration. It is also the house of how other people value you. or the house where you benefit from other people's money, usually in lump sums. That's why we call it also joint finances. Um, and that is doing a hard aspect to some kind. It's triggering an issue you have in the past regarding love, romance, or children, or even creativity. A past wound, a past hurt that you've had here, um, and this this eighth house intimacy and joint finances, or how other people value you. That keeps coming up for, well, obviously it's coming up for you, but for most of you, this is about either a past romance, or maybe a child, um, that felt like work, that felt like, um, yeah, like really tense work, and it was probably not in a good place, you or them, and um, it might have hit your reputation, or how other people saw you or valued you, and you've been carrying this. You have to put it to rest, Sagittarius, because also Cancer rules family, and especially the mother, or a matriarchal figure. And you've recently had experiences with this. Back in October, November, there was heat, urgency, um, here, and there were issues. Again, Cancer is your eighth house, but it also rules family, maybe house living situation, and the mother. And it's bringing up this past wound about fun or romance or children. So that's playing out in the background. And again, in the beginning of the video, I give you the most recent dates of these degrees so that you can look at your call logs, texts, emails, and it'll give you another clue of what's going on with this hurt that needs to be released. So, in any case, having said that, and all these aspects happening on this day and entangled with this new moon, um, I set it up so that I can tell you that on any full moons or eclipses, whether they're solar or lunar, or total lunar eclipse, or solar lunar eclipse, something is being hidden here. The moon is involved. The moon rules our emotions. Emotions are hidden. The moon is at night. It's hidden. And with this new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries, it's literally the moon blotting out this rays of the sun. It's coming between the earth and the sun. So there is something hidden here from you, Sagittarius, regarding your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. So, what I'm trying to say is give yourself and others time and space. Um, Try not to make any hardline, permanent, life altering decisions especially on the eclipse day, let alone a few days before or after. I would give it a week if you can. If you can, um, give it 2 weeks, at least until Mercury starts going direct, before making permanent um, life altering decisions. If you can't, at least you know what's going on with this eclipse. Because we also have, Mercury is retrograde, Venus is retrograde. So there's a lot of information missing, a lot of pieces of the puzzle missing, Sagittarius. And besides, like I said, this is an evolving opportunity. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on with this eclipse. And I'm laughing with you. I'm laughing with you, Sagittarius, as I am going through these things too myself. Um, and it can be also about taking care of someone is in the background. In any case, if you have any questions, please throw them in the comments. I do answer all the questions, or just let us know what's going on with this eclipse with you if you guys already know. Um, and it'll help others to navigate. So if I talk to you in the comments, uh, I'll do that. If not, I will talk to you in your April scopes. Take care, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. So we are discussing the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries, which happens to fall on March 29th at 09 degrees 00 minutes. Um, Sorry, I forgot to do something, and I'm doing it right now, but all good. All right. So this is an eclipse is an evolving story, and this is a new beginning or a new opportunity to which will evolve within 3 to 6 months. It will gain an importance and become larger, whatever, for it to manifest in that time. Um, it is also setting the stage for the next decade, as we will not have any eclipses in Aries for the next 8 to 9 years. Um, which falls in line perfectly as the next day Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees 00 minutes. It's huge. So there will be this longing, this yearning regarding Aries that will begin in earnest at the end of the month. Excuse me. Um, well, first, Aries is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your physical living space, your country, your clan, and your patriotism. Aries also rules the first house of image. Um, so yeah, you have this, um, and it is a fire sign. It is a cardinal sign. So it is a very very important house for you. It is a deeply rooted, emotionally rooted house for you, and you are a cardinal sign. So you will be feeling this eclipse acutely. Um, and in the beginning of the video, I have put up the degrees so you can match it to your natal chart, as well as I'll be discussing other aspects that are entangled with this eclipse. In the beginning of the video, again, there's degrees that you can match them to your natal chart. And I also give you of the recent past um, these these same aspects and degrees that have happened before that you can look at your call log, texts or emails, and it'll help you to remember what it was about and what this eclipse could be about. Um, so yeah, I always mention an eclipse is like a movie trailer that'll play out, that the movie will play out in the next 3 to 6 months. So pay attention to what's going on. On the same day, we do have the moon in Aries that will semi-square Uranus in Taurus. And Taurus is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, gambling, and small pets. Um, so some kind of a new beginning, a new opportunity regarding your home and family or your living space is there's tense feelings um, of them in regards to your fifth house of love, romance, or children. Or it could be vice versa. And Taurus also rules the second house, natally the second house of job, income, and value systems. Um, so this could be about your home and family values not aligning with uh, a romance values, or maybe your children, maybe they're acting up and it's just not the value you want around your home and family. But a square is a hard aspect, but it's a quick aspect. Semi square is a quick aspect, quick hard aspect. But yeah, there's some tense feelings here regarding home and family and love, romance, or a child, or even pets. Maybe concern about a pet, because pets, we consider them like family. Also on the same day, Mars in Cancer will be squaring Chiron in Aries. Let me just do one thing because I can't see there. Um, and Cancer rules your seventh house of partnerships, intimate, business, platonic. Um, Anyone who knows you really, really well, uh, who can hold up a mirror to you, is considered a partner. A brother can be a partner. An adult child can be a partner. A parent can be a partner. A friend can. Anybody who, like I said, knows you well can be considered a partner. Cancer also rules the home and family, and especially the mother. Um, and it is squaring Chiron in Aries. So that is a hard aspect. Um, so there's action and urgency here regarding a partnership that is triggering an old wound, a hurt, or a past conflict uh, with family, with your home or your country, or or something that's coming up now. You've had um, a long-standing issue regarding a partnership from back in October, November. That you started something. There was something to be done here, but you had an issue and you had to retrace. And now Mars is direct and picking up speed in Cancer. So again, um, you're you're going forward with a partnership, um, but it is not sitting well with your family, or vice versa. There's something that is not squaring away here. There you go, a square. uh, and a square, but a square also jumpstarts things here if something has been dormant. And since Mars has been in Cancer since October, and there was this issue, like I said, and then a retrace, something might have been like let sleeping dogs lie or something like that, but now it's getting triggered. So there has to be some kind of a resolution and a release, because Chiron, the wounded healer, is involved here too. Um, sorry, that's my pug snoring. um, so going back to this eclipse, if you are able, I don't want to move his head, then he'll stop snoring, but then he'll get up. All right. So if you can avoid any permanent, hardline, life altering decisions on especially the eclipse day, do avoid it, as we have these squares, these emotional aspects here. God knows Capricorn doesn't do emotion. Um, yeah, and and any eclipse, full moon, and what have you, it involves the moon. The moon is hidden, it's at night. Our emotions are ruled by the moon. They're also hidden. Um, so there's something here that's hidden from you, um, about your home and family and your parents, that you don't know about, and maybe even your parents don't know, your home and family doesn't know about, um, because it's a powerful eclipse. Because literally, this eclipse, the moon is blocking out the rays of the sun. It's coming between the earth and the sun. So there is something here that you don't know, as well as we have Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. So communication is screwed up in somehow, and then the intensity of Venus withdrawing its its blessing regarding family as well. Um, so yeah, there's something going on in the background that you don't really have the full picture, full view of. So try to give yourself and others space and time here before making any decisions, if you can. At least a few days a week, if not when Mercury goes direct in a couple weeks, if you can. If you can't, it is what it is. But just to let you know that this is an involving a new story in your life, and there are still pieces of the puzzle missing here. Um, yeah, but at least give yourself a few days so that the emotions cool down, because the moon, transverses, goes through as each sign every 2.5 days. So yeah. Um, and then I told you about the Neptune entering Aries. And then again, at the beginning of the video, you'll find all the degrees and the dates so you can match them. So if you have any questions, you can throw them down in the comments. I answer all the questions, or just let us know how it will affect you. Maybe it'll help others navigate the eclipse as well. And if I talk to you in the comments, wonderful. If not, I will be talking to you in your April scope. Take care, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. All right, so this video, we're talking about the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th at 09 degrees, 00 minutes. So, Aries for you, Aquarius, is your third house of communication and communication devices, commuting and modes of commuting. Um, it is about siblings, it is about cousins, extended family, a very close knit community. It is about social media, definitely, about vision, your eyesight, and about language. It's your need to be heard. Um, and yeah, it's and I've put up in the beginning of the video, I've put up a chart, and for each sign, which house it affects as far as your sun sign, and all the components that may be involved, all the areas. As well as I've listed the degrees, because there's other aspects that I'll be talking about, that have degrees, um, and the very recent past of when those degrees were aspected. So, compare it first to your natal chart to see what areas of your life it's triggering, what planets aspects are triggering, as well as your call logs, texts, emails on those dates that I give you in the beginning of the video might give you another clue about what this is about. All right, now, an eclipse is an evolving story. In this case, it's a new evolving story that will play out in the next 3 to 6 months, where it will gain momentum and size, I guess, air quote size. Um, that'll manifest within this time frame, 3 to 6 months usually. But it's also setting the tone for the next decade, as we will not have an eclipse in Aries for another 10 years. Um, Also, this eclipse is um, the eclipses in the Aries Libra axis started back in 2023, and it is ending with this eclipse on March 29th. Again, in the beginning of the video, I give you all those dates and the degrees and what was happening. Um, so look to that. Um, in regards for the next decade, like I said, um, we have no eclipses in Aries, as well as the next day on March 30th, after the eclipse, Neptune enters Aries at 00 degrees, 00 minutes. So there will be this longing, this yearning regarding your Aries related house, regarding all those things I mentioned in the beginning. Your commuting, your communication, siblings, social media, and all that. There is this longing. So this eclipse is really heralding that, this idealism that you'll have about it. Um, but in the very near future, like I mentioned, within 3 to 6 months, there will be something here that you will have started in earnest. Now, let's discuss the other aspects that are going on the same day. We do have Moon in Aries, semi squaring Uranus in Taurus. And that's my pug snoring in the background. Now, Taurus is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your physical living space, your country, and your patriotism. It's about your clan. Um, Taurus also natally rules the second house of job, income, and value system. So, your family, you have a very high value of your family, a very high regard of your family. Um, and you and your family, there's hard work here. There's some kind of like stability, staying power, and hard work. In any case, this this may be yearning or longing or this new opportunity that you want to endeavor or regarding your third house. There's tense feelings. Some square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi-square, so it's a quick hard aspect, I guess. But it's jump starting something in regards to your family, your living space, or your parents. Maybe they're at a distance, and you're trying to set up some kind of communication with them, or um, maybe you're putting them on your phone plan. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm just, it can be a lot of different scenarios, but there's um, some kind of hard feelings, maybe um, tense feelings regarding communication and family. That's coming up. That's entangled with this eclipse, as well as we have Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. Um, And Cancer is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, uh, rituals, small pets, and again, taking care of someone. The sixth house is the house of chaos and gossip as well. Um, and Cancer natally rules, again, the family, and most especially the mother or matriarchal figure. And you have been busy here regarding your sixth house of routine and habits ever since October and November. And you've had issues, and you've had to retrace and then start over again and perfect something here. And it might have to do with your job or your scheduling and family and a move, maybe a move. There's something of a move coming up, or you might have already moved, but there's an issue with where you've moved, or maybe neighbors, because third house also is also about neighbors and neighborhood. Maybe there's an issue with neighbors, and you're wanting to move again. Maybe, um, But yeah, it's triggering this tense aspect about your third house and your fourth house. And then regarding your sixth house of health and habits, and again, your third house of communication and commuting and neighbors. Um, so, anyway, with that said, what I'm trying to say is with all these hard aspects and intense emotions, and full moons are all about emotions, and Cancer rules emotions. Emotions are hidden. The moon is at night, it's hidden. And literally, the solar eclipse, the moon comes between the earth and the sun, and it's blotting out the rays of the sun. So there's something hidden from you here, Aquarius. Something regarding your third house of neighbors, commuting, communication, social media, siblings, and all that is hidden from you. You don't have the full answer, everything that you need to know. In any case, an eclipse is an evolving story. And then we have, two planets retrograde. Mercury is retrograde, Venus is retrograde, and these hard aspects and intense feelings. What I'm trying to say is if you can avoid any hard line, life altering, permanent decisions regarding your third house, please take that opportunity. Give yourself and others space and time. Um, at least a few days a week, and if you can, a couple weeks, as until maybe Mercury turns direct and at least communication is flowing. But if you can't, just be aware of that something might be not complete here. Okay, so that's one of the major reasons I put out this video, is just to give you explain a little bit more in detail these aspects, and just giving you a heads up is all. If you have any questions, um, you can throw them in the comments. I answer all the questions, or just let us know how this uh, eclipse might be affecting you. Maybe it'll help others to navigate as well. So if I talk to you in the comments, I talk to you then. If not, I will be talking to you in your April scope. Take care, Aquarius. Hi, Pisces. Pisces, we are talking about the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March. And Aries is your second house of job, income, and your value system. Something new, fresh, and exciting is being born here. Um, and it is an evolving story. As I've mentioned to you before, an eclipse um, is somewhat of a movie trailer of the movie that will play out in your life in the next 3 to 6 months. This new moon, this new opportunity, the solar eclipse will gain in momentum and enlarge us in the next 3 to 6 months. It is also significant as it will set the tone for the next decade, because we will not have um, another eclipse in Aries for another 8 to 9 years, and it's sitting exactly perfectly with what's going on the next day, which is Neptune entering Aries at 00 degrees 00 minutes. So this new moon is actually very much tied in with Neptune entering Aries. It's heralding something new that'll be happening regarding your job, your income, and your value system. Definitely. Aries also rules the first house of image. So there is, and especially starting on the 30th, there will be an image of how you want your job, your income, or your value system to appear. Um, a yearning, a longing for that will begin. But definitely, you'll start on this journey of this eclipse that is based in karma from 18-19 years ago. Um, Whether you owe karma or karma owes you, but it's coming to a close, and you're beginning with this new journey, like I mentioned, that will evolve in the next 3 to 6 months and will set the tone for the next decade. Um, Now, on the same day, the moon in Aries will semi square Uranus in Taurus. Taurus for you is your third house of communication, communication devices, commuting, modes of commuting, siblings, cousins, extended family, neighbors and neighborhood, very close knit community. The third house also rules vision, your eyesight, language, social media, simply your need to be heard. Um, but it's your immediate neighborhood, short distance traveling, running to and fro. Um, so a square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi-square. quick little sting that maybe jumpstart something. So you have these tense feelings about your value system or your job or your income that is being reflected regarding your neighbors or neighborhood or your communication or modes of commuting. You're just looking at it and you're saying these two don't match for some reason, or it could be about siblings and your value system, something in that arena as well. Another aspect that's in the background and entangling this new moon is Mars in Cancer is squaring Chiron in Aries. Now, Cancer is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. Um, and you have been very busy here since October, November. Also, Cancer rules natally the family, home, and parents, especially the mother. And yeah, you've been very busy here since last October, November. There was urgency and heat regarding a romance or a child. Um, and there was family involved in the background somehow. Um, and there was an issue. Um, there was an issue, and then you sort of rewound, started reviewing because Mars started going retrograde um, to reflect about that situation. And now Mars is direct and picking up speed here. So you are moving forward regarding something here about a love, romance, or children or creativity. But it's squaring Chiron in Aries. So it's a square is a hard aspect, and it is bringing up this past hurt that you've had. Um, it's almost like a wound, like a past issue. There's some kind of an issue regarding uh, job, income, but it's values. Something is triggering a hurt regarding values about children, parents, or a lover or a romance, um, and you can tell with Pisces if they have children, do not mess with their children. Even if it's good criticism, they'll fly off. You can never say anything, um, and it might be that, or it might be about a romance. The fifth house is the house of fun, lighthearted fun, and you're just feeling like it hasn't been fun anymore. It's been work. It's been yeah. It's not laid back because you're a laid back sign. You're. Um, but it's been just like rush, 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 uh, issues after issues. It just feels like hard work, an uphill battle. And there was an issue that came up, especially with the eclipse in your sign mid September and the eclipse in Virgo on the 13th of March, just a week or so ago. Um, so yeah, there's that's playing out. In any case, why I'm mentioning all that? Well, I'm mentioning it because those aspects are entangled with this new moon, but also because I always mention that eclipses, involve the moon or full moons. The moon is hidden. The moon is at night. The moon rules our emotions. Our emotions are hidden. Uh, there is something hidden here in your Aries related house. And especially with this eclipse, the moon is literally blocking the rays of the sun. Um, it is coming between the sun and earth. So there's something hidden about this new beginning, this new opportunity regarding a job, income, or your value system. Um, Plus, we have Mercury going back in your sign. We have Venus also retrograding in Aries and will be going into your sign. Um, So there's still information that's missing, um, and with these tense aspects and tense feelings, emotions, and these squares, you just don't have the full story, Pisces, here with this new beginning that's going to be starting. So if you can delay any life altering permanent decisions, give yourself and others space and time. You just do not want to be making any permanent decisions regarding any job, income, or the way you value yourself, your value system, who you will and will not sell out for. Is this? on this new moon partial solar eclipse. If there is a decision to be made, uh, if you can delay it a few days, a week. I mean, ideally, it would be great if everyone can wait till at least Mercury goes direct in a couple of weeks. That would be great. But if you can't, you can't. Um, but and it may not be as dramatic as I may be making it sound. It might be, something mundane. But um, and the Mars in Cancer that's squaring Chiron in Aries, that's not coming up to the square. It's like releasing. And the semi square is a quick aspect. But if you can, delay any decisions, uh, or if you can't, just make say I agree in lieu of something like that. Also, in the beginning of the video, I did put up the chart and the areas of your life that it'll be aspecting. Also, I put the most recent dates and aspects with the degrees that match this solar eclipse and this Mars in Cancer. So I give you those dates so you can look up your call logs, your emails, your texts, and it'll help you. It'll trigger that memory, and you'll have yet another layer of what this might be about. Yeah. Um, so that's at the beginning of the video, and you can take a snapshot and compare it to your natal chart and see what other area of your life it might trigger. Um, yeah, other than that, it's a new opportunity, and like I've mentioned before, it is like a commercial, a movie trailer of what will play out. So pay attention to these days. And if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I answer all the questions, or tell us how this will be affecting you, so that maybe it'll help others navigate. Um, Other than that, if I don't speak to you in the comments section, then I will be speaking to you with you in the April scopes. So I'll talk to you then, Pisces. Take care and good luck.